there. Welcome to the Young Leader Podcast. My name is Noah. I am your host. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcast. We're on Instagram, tyl.podcast for the @ We would love your support, so thank you so much for tracking with us. And for today, our topic is going to be obedience. Leaders are obedient people. And the thing about leaders is all great leaders were once faithful followers. They were once in a position where they had to faithfully serve. They had to faithfully follow the person that was leading them at their time. And I think the Bible is so full of so many amazing examples of this. We see, Joshua serving Moses well. And because of that, he is the one who took them into the promised land. We see it with King David. He was anointed king, but he didn't quit his day job. He still served in the season that he was supposed to be in, being a shepherd to sheep. Even Elisha and Elijah, Elijah came to Elisha and he was like, hey, leave everything. I'm going to place my mantle on you and you're going to follow me now. And Elijah's like, Elijah's right. I always get those two mixed up. But Elisha's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. And he follows Elijah, and because of that, he gets a double portion of his leader's calling. And so this is just further proof that to be a great leader, you have to start off as a faithful follower. It's necessary. It's not something that's suggested. It's not something that's like, oh, okay, yeah, you can be a somewhat okay follower, but when you get to leadership, it's going to change. This is something that is so important for a developing leader, because how you finish this season is going to directly affect how you enter the next season. What you're doing today is going to affect how you live tomorrow. If you're going to work really hard in your 20s, you're going to be set up better for your 30s and 40s. These are just principles of life that are true. Compounded habits, that's what makes up who we are as a person. And so what we're doing now truly matters. How we serve matters. How we obey, how we honor those who we serve, it matters. We can't expect to dishonor leadership and be blessed later as a leader. A great example of what not to do can be seen with Moses. He was a faithful toleader for so long, but one act of disobedience to God caused him to miss out on the entire promised land. God told him to do something one way, and he did it a completely different way. And God said, well, because of that, I can't bless you. I'm not going to let you lead my people anymore. And it was given to who? His faithful follower, Joshua, who was able to lead his people into the promised land and to defeat Jericho and really elevate the people who'd been wandering in the wilderness for 40 years, bring them into a place of power and authority. And serving in the season that you're in can be something that's super frustrating. Being obedient to somebody who you feel you're better than or isn't a great leader to begin with, that's something that's tough to do. It's tough to honor those people. But one thing that we have to realize is that it doesn't matter that we think we know better. We still have to honor them. And we may not agree with everything that they do, but there's still a level of honor and obedience that we as Christ followers, that we as young leaders are called to adhere to in order to be blessed. And this can be especially hard too for those of us with a timeline, and one thing that I've heard preached so hard is that, God's timeline is rarely, if ever, congruent with ours. He's not just standing there with like a paper and a pen being like, okay, you want a house by 22, got it, spouse, okay, dream job, perfect, travel. He's not doing that, because he realizes that if we are to step into that prematurely, that it can crush us. One of my buddies who's an amazing young adults pastor, he just preached this message so greatly, and he was saying that, if you were to step into your calling right now, it would crush you, because you're simply not ready for it. And that really opened my eyes and blessed me, because I was like, wow, I'm being prepared to step into this calling. I'm being prepared to be a young leader, and my obedience and everything that I'm doing right now, that's going to affect me for years to come, no matter where I'm at. Another thing that we have to realize is that there's beauty in the place that we're at right now. We may not be a seasoned, executive or somebody who has it all together, who's at the top of the food chain. We may be in an entry-level job. We may be in an internship, or you're a bench player, you come off the bench. But there's beauty in that. To quote the great theologian J. Cole, there's beauty in the what does he say? There's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success. And finding that beauty in the struggle, I think, is something that's so important, that's so valuable, to realize that, wow, I'm leaning on God for things, and I'm trying to be obedient, and I'm going to keep being faithful until I'm rewarded. Because if it's not perfect yet, well, guess what? It's not done yet. God makes all things new. And if you're at a season right now where you're like, I feel like I can't keep going, I feel like I can't continue to go down this path of obedience or whatever it may be, and just realize that you are in a season where you're going to have to trust the process with obedience. Because sometimes it can be a process. You're like, I do not see the dividends, like we just talked about. Yes, they're way down the road, but if you can just find the power and the will to trust his process for your life, well, you'll be blessed because of it. So much of the pressure on our part gets relieved when we just say, you know what, God, I'm going to give the results to you. I'm not going to work so much in my own strength to achieve them, but I'm going to work like it depends on me, and I'm going to pray like it depends on you. And the results, they come what may, but I will be faithful, I will be obedient, and I won't quit. And that's part of what makes obedience such a workable trait, is you can legit practice it every day. You practice it with God, you practice it with bosses, with people, with your parents, whoever's in authority in your life. And that blessings, the Bible says, blessings and obedience, they go hand in hand. It's continue to be faithful, continue to be obedient, and these things, they will fall into place if you don't give up. And so that's all the time we have for today. But thank you so, so much for watching or listening. Tune in next time. We have some really exciting guests that are going to be on. So you just don't have to listen to me the whole time. But we're going to have a blast. Thank you again. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.